Good morning. So here for Wednesday, February 17th, we have some new math, figuring out some new areas, this time of triangles and parallelograms. So I'm going to do my very best to be as detailed as possible with this, but I will be going over these concepts over Zoom today at 11 just to refresh and make sure that everybody understands how to do this. Because seeing this at first, these examples may seem overwhelming when you first look at them, but we're going to go over them step by step so you can easily learn how to solve the area of triangles and parallelograms. So first, you're going to complete your review exercises. Yesterday, we practiced finding the area of rectangles and squares. And remember that finding the circumference is always the diameter times pi. Remember that pi is 3.14, and that is in our previous videos from last week. And remember, if it only gives you half, which is the radius, you're going to double that to give you the diameter and then multiply times pi. So here we are now solving for area for triangles and parallelograms, which can be way trickier than just solving for a square or a rectangle. So let's start first with our triangle. So here is our formula. Our formula is what we need to know to solve. So for finding the area of any triangle, we first need to find the base and the height. So the base is the bottom of the triangle. This is going to be the base. And the height is from the tallest point to the lowest point. And we're going to multiply those numbers. Then, after we multiply those numbers shown here, notice how it says b times h, base times height. We're going to then divide that number by 2, and that will be our area for our rectangle. So although you see a lot of symbols and numbers here, it's pretty much just 2 steps. And I'm definitely going to give you some examples on how to do that. Just to go over it one more time, to find the area of a triangle, you are going to multiply this base number, which is the bottom, times the height, and then after, when you find that number, you'll divide it by 2. So here in this example, I want you to focus right here. We know that the base of this triangle is 7 feet. We know that the height of this triangle is 8 feet. So you're first going to multiply 7 times 8, just like they do here. So what is 7 times 8? Well, we know that 7 times 8 is 56. And then our next step is to divide 56 by 2. So you're always going to divide your answer by 2 for a triangle. And in this case, as we can see here, 56 divided by 2 is 28. We make sure that our answer is in square feet because it is the area which is the center of our shape. So the area of this triangle measuring 7 by 8 is 28 square feet. And I will be giving you an example of that. Now for a parallelogram, remember a parallelogram is a shape that has parallel sides on both sides, but it's not quite a rectangle. So we have here base times height. So this one is much easier because we don't have to divide by 2. So the area of the parallelogram is simply going to be the height, which is the top to the bottom, times the base. In this parallelogram, whether or not it seems like it, the base is 12 feet the height is 11 feet. So you're simply just multiplying 12 times 11 to get 132. Don't forget you have to add square feet because we're measuring the middle of our shape. So here at first, we're going to do 2 samples, and of course you are going to do the rest. So here we have our parallelogram sample, and then we have our triangle sample, and we're going to make sure that we use the correct formula for both. So for our parallelogram is going to be a little easier because we just learned that to solve the area for parallelogram, we are just multiplying the base times the height. So we can simply just do 13 times 6. I would do the 13 first only because it's bigger. And I write small. If you write big, you can use an extra piece of paper. But just for the sake of showing you the sample, I will write on this piece of paper. So we have 6 times 3, which is 18. And then 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So we know that our area is 78. But 78 what? Not just feet. 78 square feet, and that's very important because we're not solving for perimeter, we're solving for area. Now here we have our rectangle, and we know that this rectangle's formula is just a little bit more complex. So not only do we have to multiply our height and our base, but then afterwards we have to make sure that we divide it by 2. So first we're going to do 6 times 8. This one I know by memory. You must probably know by memory. So we're going to do 6 times 8 is 48. But we're not done just there. Remember, we have to divide by 2. So what is 48 divided by 2? So I know this one by memory, but just for the sake of making sure we get it right, 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 8 4 times, and here we have 24. Now, is it 24 feet? Nope, we're solving for area, so it's going to be 24 square feet. Now, for numbers 1 through 7, you will make sure that you use your answer column here to give your answer. Make sure that you are using square feet. In this case, all of your problems are in feet. So just make sure that after every number in your solution that you add square feet. Notice that in number 3 and 4, it doesn't give you the shape, but it doesn't matter because it tells you what the shape is. So you know that if it says triangle, then you're going to be multiplying the numbers and then dividing by 2. So you will be doing your base times height, and then you'll divide by 2. Here for number 4, it's telling you it's a parallelogram, so you know that you're just going to be multiplying the base times the height, and that's it. Of course, adding square feet at the end. So I will be sure to go over this over Zoom just to be perfectly sure that everybody's understanding. But I think if you go back or if you practice, you should get this right. These are the only formulas that you have to make sure that you keep in mind. Is for a triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. For the parallelogram, it is base times height. And in this case, it was missing a little part of the H, but we know that that means height.